I'm here at Heilmann Park in Atascadero, California, for the first episode of Disc and Takes. First hole straight away. Sign says 239 feet. So let's see how we are out of the car. This could be really good or really bad, and there's really no in between with that. Oh, get through, get through. Oh, I've juiced that. That's not it. Two out the first, you know the rules. As we may have noticed, we are in all Miami gear. We got the Miami Dwayne Wade jersey, got the Miami Marlins hat on. This is recorded the day after Game 1, Celtics Heat. And let's just talk about it real quick. Jimmy Butler, what a performance he had. Jimmy Butler, it didn't even feel like he was going off, but he was. He controlled the game in all aspects. There was no part of the game where I felt that he didn't have a say in. And also talk about the Heat bench. The Heat bench, 6 players, I guess. 6 players had 15 or more points. If you're Boston, you can't allow it to happen. You know, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they're going to get theirs, and you know, invariably, Kevin Love, Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, they'll all get theirs. But you can't allow every single one of them to get theirs in the same game. That's just a recipe for failure. It's impossible to allow those 6 players to score more than 15 points, and you win the game. Look at that. We're parked out here. Never a doubt. The way I think about it, though, also, Jason Tatum, he showed his 2022 finals. He looks like he's getting into that form early. The 2 turners at the end, back-to-back travels, you can't have that in the NBA, especially against a team with this sort of force around them that makes it feel like, you know, they're this team of destiny in the Miami Heat. Coming in off the play-in, beat the Bucks in 5. They didn't even play in the second round. I don't even know who they played in the second round, but they need to do better. The Celtics do as a team if they want a chance. And Jason Tatum needs to show up. Well, I wish I was recording that, but we're about this far away from the basket, and we have thrown it in. So that's always fun. Starting 2 down through 2. That's great. Speaking of number 2, today is Thursday. Game 2, Lakers Nuggets, is going to come up here soon. I think tip-off's probably in about, I think I'm recording this at about 11 o'clock, so tip-off's roughly 7 hours from now. I think some thoughts about that. The Lakers, you know, I don't think that they're a 7 seed, right? It kind of same way that the Heat are. The seeding doesn't do that team justice because they're a better team than what the seeding suggests. Hole 5 here at Atascadero DGC, Heilmann Park. Got a little valley shot. Basically, basket placements back there behind all those trees, past that mandatory tree. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but hopefully it shows up. There's a little M with the arrow. You got to shoot it to the right of that tree, get down into that little valley area, and then pitch up for your par. It's a nice little hole. Sometimes it gets long, and sometimes it's tucked all the way back deep by the tennis courts. It's a really fun hole. Speaking of the valley, Phoenix Suns, Monty Williams, I think that firing will come back to bite them more than they think. Matt Abisha, I think that's how you say it, at least Matt Abisha, he came over, took over this team after Sarver, which is, you know, you're trying to catch up after Sarver's your owner. Same thing with Donald Sterling and Steve Ballmer. But I think the difference between Ballmer and Ishbia is that Ishbia's taking more of an active role, and generally active owners in the way that Ishva and Cuban do it are usually signs of failure. Ballmer, you can laugh about the Clippers all you want, but Ballmer's been mostly hands off with it. He's passionate about the team, which the Suns owner is too, which is great. But if you take too much of a hand, you don't know ball sometimes. And that's just the fact of the matter. As much as like we would like to think that we know basketball, sometimes we don't. If you're an owner, like the Suns owner, even Cuban should do this, honestly. You pay people to help further your enthusiasm with basketball. That's what Steve Ballmer does. And the Clippers, like I said, you can laugh at them all you want, but they look good, minus the injuries to Kawhi and Paul George even, right? They look like they could have done something. But, James Jones said he didn't want to give up Mikal Bridges, but Ishva thinks that he needed a big name free agent, not free agent, but a big name trade, being the new owner. So he did. So he went in and took it upon himself to make that trade. And I think long term that's a recipe for failure. Cuban succeeded with it in 2011, but is that a repeatable thing? I'm not so sure. Ownership plays a bigger role in sports whether we like it or not. Oh yeah, that's good. I might be too far. Ah, I threw it too far. Uh-oh. The old business adage is cash is king. Cash is king, especially in the sports world. If you have enough money, because okay, let's be honest, right? We can talk about Matt Ishva, the Suns owner, all we want. End of the day is he's the one who owns the Suns. It's his. He owns it, so he can do whatever he wants with it. And we're stuck here, it's being like, oh, I wouldn't have done that, X, Y, Z, whatever. All right, hole 6. We are 379 over the hill. Gotta beat this little happy tree. It's a little happy there. I don't know if we can see it up close, but got the little smiley face on it. It's been hit by a few hundred frisbees. I declined to say how many I threw at it. That's basket placements over the hill. The big question about who's over the hill or not is the Warriors. They had that whole two timeline deal, and that just hasn't seemed to work out for them at all. Jordan Poole, for as well as he played in the 2022 playoffs, he stunk it this year. You have to wonder how the Warriors move forward, especially if Bob Myers doesn't come back. Draymond Green's going to decline his player extension, and Klay Thompson's due for a big one too, especially for all he's done for the franchise. Is it the end of the Warriors? That is a great question. Oh, I'm down. That was tough. You didn't see that. Cut the video. Cut it. But I think what you have to look at the Warriors is, if Jordan, you ask yourself this first question. Do you think that Jordan Poole in 2022 or 2023 is the real Jordan Poole? And I think that if Jordan Poole starts to play within himself, he has all the talent in the world to make it work, but he's playing frantic, out of control. And that doesn't work in a system like the Warriors. So if he can play under control within the system, he'll be a great piece. I'm not saying he'll be worth that contract, but it'll mitigate the cost. But I think what you have to look at the Warriors is, if Jordan, you ask yourself this first question. Do you think that Jordan Poole in 2022 or 2023 is the real Jordan Poole? And I think that if Jordan Poole starts to play within himself, he has all the talent in the world to make it work, but he's playing frantic, out of control. And that doesn't work in a system like the Warriors. So if he can play under control within the system, he'll be a great piece. I'm not saying he'll be worth that contract, but it'll mitigate the cost. The other thing you have to ask is, if they re-sign Draymond Green, then what? And I think it's very much a question of if Bob Myers returns, Draymond Green probably comes back, and if not, it seems like just the right amount of stupid thing to do to not re-sign him, in my opinion. that a new general manager would try to do to put his own imprint on the team. I think you probably have one or two. You have one more year of like surefire championship contention, and after that, it's up to the fates, really. That's going to do it for this episode of Disking Takes, everyone. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode coming probably next week. We'll see what happens. See you then. Oh, that's a tree hit. That was terrible. Cut it.